Sana po ang bibigyan sa akong kasi.
Mayong hapon sa tanan. Already have a program. Mr. Secretary, Majority Floor, and all the regular members of the 19th City Council, mayong hapon kaninyong tanan. So, just inform us this afternoon for the airports, the presence of airports, well, they have an emergency alert status in the airfield. So, they pull out this afternoon. So we do not have visitors this afternoon. So we may now proceed. Nana. Okay. So, ngayong hapon, the 81st regular session sa Guniang Panglusod, Dakbayan sa Cagayan de Oro is now called on to order. An invocation, please do stand. An invocation by Councilor Edgar Salcedo Cabanlas. Mayong hapon kanimo, konsehal.
Hello. Oh. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
We pray, Lord, that as we plod along this difficult and tragic period of our history, as we struggle with our fears and doubts, thinking of our safety amidst this pandemic, and as we grapple with our frustrations, setbacks, and pains, we will continue to move forward, unwavering in our belief that you are in our midst, lifting us in your loving arms when times are getting too tough. We will provide the strength and perseverance. Just provide us with hope that in every storm, in every vicious storm, a silver lining of the sun is not far behind. God grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas. Ano? Okay. And the singing of our national anthem. And for the Cagayan de Oro March. Ayong hapon sa tanan. So as to our media friends out there, tabak, mayong hapon kaninyo. And to all who are present this afternoon, mayong hapon. And so as to our fellow public servant in their different abode, mayong hapon kaninyo diha. Councilor Chodolfo Bongla, mayong hapon kanimo.
May hapon, Vice. May hapon sa tanan.
Okay, loud and clear. Oh. Mayong hapon kanimo. Councilor Lordan Swan, Councilor Lordan Swan. Councilor Jocelyn Rodriguez.
Mayong hapon, Vice.
Mayong
Mayong
hapon
hapon sa
kanimo,
tanan.
Konsehala, mayong hapon. And Councilor Lordan Swan is also present. Mayong hapon kanimo, Konsehal.
Na ako.
And to all our fellow Cagayanons, mayong hapon kanatong tanan. So, Mr. Secretary, at this moment of time, Mr. Secretary, Roll call, please, and determine if we do have a quorum.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and all the
Ngayong hapon.
members of the Sangguniang Panglungsod. Honorable Renier Joaquin VOy, City Vice Mayor and Presiding Officer. For the First District Councilors, Honorable Edna Imdahino, Honorable J.R. Pascual, Honorable Roger G. Abaday, Honorable Saldi O. Ocon, Honorable George E. Goking, Honorable Ruben R. Daba, Honorable Lourdes G. Swan, Honorable Romeo V. Calizo. For the Second District Councilors, Honorable Jaylen Mercedes L. Balaba, Honorable Maria Lourdes S. Gaane, Honorable Ian Mark Q. Nacaya, Honorable Josette G. Magtahas Daba, Honorable Chodolfo E. Lau Jr., Honorable Enrico D. Salcedo, Honorable Jocelyn B. Rodriguez, Honorable
Present.
Edgar S. Cabanlas. For the ex-officio members, Honorable Yan Lam Islim, Liga ng mga Barangay President, and Honorable John Michael El Seno, City SK Federation President. There is quorum, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Okay, there is a quorum. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We do have a quorum. Okay. Majority Floor Leader, Ian Mark Q. Nacaya. Maayong hapon kanimo, Majority Floor.
Mayang hapon usab Mr. Vice Mayor Presiding Officer Renier Joaquin Velez Kikang Uy,
Maayong
and
hapon.
to our colleagues in the council. Sorry. Sumpayon ta na ako congressman para kompleto. Walang ko kontra. And
Walay kontra lo.
nabadi. Siguro. Di man palaway, butan man. Friends from the media, fellow Cagayanons, mayang hapon. I move, Mr. Chairman, to dispense with the reading of the minutes of meeting on March 15, 2021, and to consider the furnishing of its copy to every member as the reading itself. Second.
Majority Floor Leader. Any second? Seconded. Correction. Is there any correction? There is none. Hearing none. It is hereby approved.
I likewise move for the approval of the said minutes of meeting.
For its may knowledge.
Second.
Seconded.
We have actually three reports, Mr. Chairman, but the other one is a joint report by myself and Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane. And the first reporter is Councilor Abaday, who would like to render a report on his observation as regards the towing provision of the RTA as regards its enforcement function, Mr. Chairman. And the second report is to be reported by myself and Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane on the declaration of modified and hybrid MGCQ and GCQ in Metro Manila, and perhaps the impact that we would have in the city, Mr. Chairman. So first is Councilor Roger Abaday.
Okay, thank you, Majority Floor Leader. As scheduled, our first reporter this afternoon, Councilor Roger Abaday. Mayang hapon kanimo, and you have the floor.
Thank you very much, our young and handsome Vice Mayor
Delikado
Renier Kikang Uy. Distinguished colleagues, members of the City Council, our friends who are in the virtual space who are watching us today. Good afternoon.
Mayang hapon.
My report is about those two tragic incidents which occurred. The other one is, I think, last month and recently last Wednesday. The vehicular accident that hits our overpass in Bugu, somewhere in Bugu. The first one was involving heavy equipment, flatbed, 10-wheeler truck carrying heavy equipment, bulldozers, which caused hours of traffic congestions. And this latest one is another flatbed, 10-wheeler truck who carried the backhoe was tumbled on the highway, and again hours of rage of pedestrians and drivers because of the traffic congestion. Helpless ang atong mga members sa RTA because of lack of equipments. Now, I am proposing, Mr. Chairman, that the the city government or the RTA should secure or procure the towing vehicle. Na sila towing vehicle pero dili gyud kaya, dili gyud maka bastar labi na tong mga heavy equipment. So it costs time, bisag na ilang mga personnel pero grabe gyud ang purisyo kayo sa tao. Nga from Bugo to Recto, pila ka oras. Wala tungod lang sa kana lang insidente. So Mr. Chairman, kinahanglan na ta og heavy equipment nga kaning towing vehicle. Kung dili ma-afford sa syudad by this point of time, siguro I am suggesting, Mr. Chairman, through the committee sa traffic nga we have to hire the services of this towing mga dagkong kumpanya di kaning towing services or companies that has heavy equipment, Mr. Chairman, that can lift or that can respond immediately in case of those cases, Mr. Chairman, of incident. Sa MMDA, my dear colleagues, no, I know you are aware with this, that there are two kinds of towing trucks ilang nasa ila no gipreparar na ilang road emergency group towing trucks, and they are only allowed to tow the stalled vehicles involved in accidents. The services of these trucks are free of charge. The other one is a truck is they have this accredited towing trucks to check the list of all to tow all those vehicles that are also installed in the highway, like those illegal parking and involved in accident. So, mahimo man sa Metro Manila, mahimo sa Cebu, ano dili mahimo sa siyudad sa Cagayan de Oro. Now, we will engage in order to resolve this future incident, Mr. Chairman. I think the RT or through the chief executive, will hire or engage the services of those accredited towing vehicles which are operating now in the city of Cagayan de Oro. May mga towing company man siguro, services niya karon sa Cagayan de Oro. So momentarily, while the city cannot buy, I think we have to have a lease contract or a case-to-case basis so that we can help our problems in our traffic. It is not only to solve the traffic problem, but it will also generate funds because those vehicles were towed. Bayad man sila, depende sa kabugaton o depende sa kadakoon sa mga sakyanan. So Mr. Chairman, I am proposing a resolution and it should be referred to the proper committees, I think the proper traffic committee siguro, in order to request the Honorable City Mayor, under man niya ang RTA, Executive Department, to buy or to engage the services of towing trucks which are accredited, Mr. Chairman, to check the traffic problem, especially during vehicular accidents or any accidents in the city of Cagayan de Oro. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. So, any reaction? Reaction?
Mr. Chairman.
Reaction. Okay, Councilor Enrico Salcedo. Councilor Enrico Salcedo. Mayong hapon kanimo, Jihad.
Mayong hapon, Mr. Chairman. Yung pa ni Councilor Roger Abaday nga pinakambungan ng Vice Mayor Bugo Kalibutan. Mayong hapon.
Tininood na o talo-talo?
Mayong hapon sa tanan. Di tinood na. Ah, Wa po man suggestion ni Councilor Abaday, Mr. Chairman. Pero
Okay.
kana siya nga mga pangitabo. Panagsaragid do. Pero katong kaso sa Bugo, Mr. Chairman. Kasi pag natay tuwing nga pang-heavy or unsa diya, di gito masulbad, Mr. Chairman. Antod nga dili to'y diskarga tong bako. Tungod kay ang kargahan dili man lubid. High bed man. Dili intended for heavy equipment sa bako, Mr. Chairman. Kay gisangit man ang bako gid mismo dito sa overpass. Basta kailan lang gito siya ikanaog. Ang ako lang, Mr. Chairman, kay talag sara kay pwede man ta maka-request sa rural transit kay naa may ila kung pananglitan kay talag sara man na case to case ra man na, Mr. Chairman, niya magpalit lang ta na intended lang yan. Siguro ang kulang na to, Mr. Chairman, ordinansa nga kinahanglan ta og ordinansa pag penalize sa height nga kinahanglan sukdo na to ang height sa overpass na kinahanglan kana ra gyud ang makalusot sa highway ang height sa overpass, Mr. Chairman. Kay mo po na siya basihan sa pagdakop sa mga highway patrol, pagdakop sa RTA kung na sila ma-intercept sa pagkarga. Mana nga I hope nga matagaan sa committee sa RTA or sa bang committee nga ka-enact ang ordinance para ma-penalize nato ang kanang kato dinanghag man gito, klaro, Mr. Chairman, kay klaro naman kay ito nya dili man nila madakop kay wala man tay balaod nga dakpo nato. Kaya lang himuan nato balaod, himuan nato ordinansa para ma-penalize nato, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Enrico Salcedo.
Mr. Chairman.
Any reaction? Well,
Mr. Chairman.
there is already a national law for that. So even with the due damages, especially in the national highway, there is specific or an hour penalty when you are giving due damage to the traffic flow or hampers the traffic flow of the said national highway. So I think there is no need for that. And we have to consider also that in maintaining such a heavy equipment intended for the use of such incident, it's very costly. No? When we, in terms of maintenance, in terms of the operator, well, the payment for any operating expense of that such crane, big, heavy equipment is every hour is the cost or the compensation for it. So we have to consider it also for maintaining such heavy equipment, such like that. Any reaction? Okay. Councilor
Mr. Chair.
Chudon Bunglao, there is in addition for a reaction about the special report this afternoon by Councilor
hapon.
Baday. May hapon.
May hapon, Mr. Presiding Officer. May hapon sa akong mga kauban. May hapon also to the people of Cagayan de Oro. Actually, last year, I think we have 2 incidents that happened along National Highway. Those heavy equipments which were caused the congestion of traffic. Now, as per observation, Mr. Presiding Officer, I agree with the suggestion of Councilor Abaday that maybe we could have an agreement from or to the different those contractor or entity that have a heavy equipment that would tow those heavy vehicles. No need for us to purchase maybe because it's too costly, but we can have an agreement of like the RTMI, the Class A contractors, because they have heavy equipments that would tow heavy equipments also. So because And then maybe I could suggest, Mr. Presiding Officer, that those vehicles that cause the congestion, especially along National Highway, after 15 minutes, no, maybe we could penalize them, no, or by paying, because imagine the cost of the burden on the part of the pedestrians, the riding public, the vehicles that passing along National Highway. It takes so many hours that it will resolve the issue. So that's why maybe it's high time now to review our city ordinances so that we can strengthen the enforcement of our traffic laws. So that's my piece, Mr. Presiding Officer. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Rodolfo Bunglao. So any reaction? Okay, our Committee on Traffic Chair, Councilor Romeo Calizo. Ayong hapon kanimo?
May hapon sa atong ambungan nga gwapo gyud nga presiding officer, Vice Mayor Renier Joaquin Kikang Uy. And of course, my colleagues in the 19th City Council, sa ato pong mga bisita. A pleasant afternoon to all. Although I agree that there's really a need to review some provisions of our existing ordinances insofar as enforcement of our traffic code is concerned. I don't think RTA is not really equipped with the appropriate ordinances. It's just a matter of, it's really a challenge of the executive to look into some specific maneuvers to enforce the law. It's like, siguro kanang katong truck that cause traffic there in the highway, or the trucks. Sometimes a towing vehicle is not even needed already. We can let the driver drive somewhere to the impounding area and then impose the penalty if there is an appropriate penalty. And I agree with the observation of our Vice Mayor that there's already existing laws to the height sa ilang karga para dili bid maka cost of traffic there. Even nga kanang mga falkata, they call this kanang mga falkata, dalag mga falkata nga mga truck. There's a certain height that is allowed by law. So what more with the equipment that's being hauled by big trucks? There should also be a height that's required. So it's just a matter of a maneuver that should be thought of by our RTA to enforce the law, Mr. Chairman. So although maybe there's some provisions of our existing ordinances that ought to be reviewed and maybe need to be amended. Or probably there should be addendum to the existing provisions, Mr. Chairman. So anyway, I know the prayer of the Honorable Roger Abada is to have the matter referred before my committee, the Committee on Roads Traffic Management, so that the appropriate action should be done, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Romeo Calizo. Well, at the beginning, as we observed, as reported by Councilor Enrico Salcedo, well, at the beginning, the one who are traversing that national highway with their heavy equipment is already at fault, since the one that they are using is not for what do you call that one, Councilor Enrico Salcedo? Councilor Enrico Salcedo? What do you call that one? The one that they are using is already at fault, since the one that they are using is not low bed. Come again, low bed? Oh, not for transporting such heavy equipment. So they already knew that they are already at fault from the very beginning, since they are not using the exact proper equipment to transport such heavy equipment.
Ang gisakyan, Mr. Chairman, di na proper kay high bed man ang gisakyan adto. Nga pag sulod padaan unta sa Cagayan de Oro, baraw non dakop non to dili dito po mo na nga nabay height dia kita ba nato dia asa nga ordinance.
So this will be our ordinance, existing ordinance, so do we already have?
Asa ang height? Ha?
National law mo siya.
National law.
Pero sa national law, tingali na sa height.
Pero mas maayo manggod, usually manggod Mr. Chairman. For example, sa solid waste management. Nanay national law, pero nag-inakta og local ordinance para may siya na to og citation ang atong aside sa TOP. I hope nga na TOP. Kung national law, na TOP ang atong RTA. Ha? Dili ba? TOP, kung national law na siya, TOP lagi ang issue. I hope nga na TOP. Kung atong implement ang national law, TOP ang issue.
There could be a rate for any services. So as stated in the ordinance, so there is no instances that are free. There's no such thing as free, since we are, especially when we are involving a heavy equipment. So there are specific rates. So, well, actually, as we heard a while ago by Councilor Enrico Salcedo, well, he is the one who is expert about this heavy equipment industry. So from low bed to another, can identify. So highly demandable his expertise about this. So maybe at the proper time you will involve Councilor Enrico Salcedo in the proper time or in the proper committee as you discuss or deliberate such any issues regarding about this matter. So any reaction or in addition? Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo wants to add something from the roads and traffic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I observed that somewhere if you kanabita barangay Lasang exiting from Panabo City towards Davao, naman sila ikon dito kanang asa ataman lang ang height nga
There is already
muka ka di
identified.
nakakaagi. Even in Butuan, those Falcata haulers, no, or log haulers coming from Agusan and Surigao, if they enter to Butuan along that Wa bridge, na height dito nga uga di na kamo lahos. Dini siguro sa Cagayan magbutang lang tanyana para kanang mulapas ana nga height di na palahuson diri sa Cagayan de Oro. Simple maneuvers, Mr. Chairman. There's no need of even specifying what's the height. Basta kana ug mo di na palahuson sa Cagayan.
We already have an ordinance, but I think for the height implementation or requisites, I think it is stated in the national law. There is a national law about that.
So we'll just abide by that, Mr. Chairman.
I
We'll just
think-
put a height regulator while entering into Cagayan de Oro. Those above that, di na nato palahuson. So this is just simple maneuvers, but it helped, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
But this time around, I think it is just an isolated case or just timing or very timely, but at fault from the very beginning, there are from the expert on the CB equipment, I think as we heard Councilor Rico Salcedo, there is no height. Well, that is an ordinance, but I think in the national law about that, when we are traversing the national highway, we are under the national law. So I think we have to research about the height from the national law. There is. There is, as stated, there is an instance that they will be allowed. Can you specify the paragraph A? Height unless a permit or clearance. Okay. So it is not allowed. But for some instance, maybe, or it can be, when they have a permit or clearance from the said authority or the proper authority, such as the RTA. Okay, Councilor Roger Abaday.
Uh, Good that we have already the ordinance, but observation, Mr. Vice Mayor, my presiding officer, my colleagues, it was not implemented fully because we lack equipment. We lack towing vehicles. Nay ato pero it cannot tow that heavy vehicles. Heavy vehicles, those are illegally parked in the highway. Usually, observation gikan ka sa Bugo highway, nadia ang mga illegally parked heavy equipment sa vehicles. Kanang mga dagkong kwan diya, no? So, wala tayo capacity sa atong RTA, dili makaguyod na nga mga aside lugar sa those vehicles where in the vehicular accident. Because I am referring to the vehicles, towing vehicles that will tow the stalled vehicles in the highway, illegally parked vehicles in our city, and aside from towing vehicles involved in accidents. So these are two towing vehicles that will serve our traffic, Mr. Chairman, to be used by the RTA. So kulang tao capacity yan eh. So that's why I am suggesting, Mr. Chairman, that we will hire services from accredited towing services in the city of Cagayan de Oro. Daghang kay mga kumpanya din nga dagko equipment for case-to-case basis. The city will have at least contract ba o sa mga contract, so that this is one way to solve our traffic problem. Ang kasagara gyud na problema makakos sa traffic kaniging mga stalled vehicles in the highway. So another two vehicles that will tow this one so that it will clean our streets, Mr. Chairman. So there is necessity that we have to secure or we have to procure or hire services of towing vehicles, Mr. Chairman. That's what the point that I am raising, Mr. Chairman, on this council, that the city must have availability of these towing vehicles in order to solve or help the traffic problem in Cagayan de Oro. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. Okay, lastly, Councilor Edna Dahino. Ayong hapon kanimo, konsehal.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to my colleagues and our visitors at the back. Mr. Chairman, I think we call the attention of the head of the RTA, Mr. Chairman, because this is his responsibility to review our ordinances pertaining to our traffic, knowing that we have several problems now, or a lot of problems na diha karon sa atong kadalanan. And I really suggest, Mr. Chairman, the head of the RTA should be proactive of this problem, Mr. Chairman, because again, kung magulat lang siya kung sa problema, knowing di ta maka-anticipate what will be the problem, so dugay ka ang solution to the problem. And I think, Mr. Chairman, we have allocated already with the kanang towing allocation, I think millions or 2 million. Yes, 12. Yeah, kung my memory serves me well, we have allocated already for that kanang request sa towing machine. So kung wala pa na siya, Mr. Chairman, I like to comment also the suggestion of Councilor Abaday to have the services of third party, kumbaga. So, Mr. Chairman, I think again it is a call to the head of the RTA to really pay attention to the problem of the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Edna Dahino. So, any reaction? There is none. Okay. Thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday, for your special report. Well, as your prayer, maybe you can deliberate it thoroughly in the proper committee, on the Committee of Traffics and Roads, chaired by Councilor Romeo Calizo. And about this also for the buy or acquire such any one. So maybe you will deliberate it thoroughly to the committee. chaired by Councilor Romeo Calizo. Okay, our second reporter this afternoon, Councilor, well, a joint committee special report chaired by, okay, our
first,
second reporter, Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane, together with Councilor Majority Floor Leader Ian Mark Q, Nacaya.
I'd like to make the introduction.
Okay,
First,
carry on,
and,
Majority Floor.
Councilor Gaane will follow, Mr. Chairman. At the advent of the release and application of these vaccines in the global community for all the peoples from all walks of life in various parts of on earth, Mr. Chairman, against COVID-19, there appears to be laxity among residents, not only in Cagayan de Oro, but in the entire archipelago, perhaps in the Philippines and many others. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, lockdown were issued in Spain, Germany, Italy, and some parts of Europe. Even if there were already vaccines provided by the government and by institutions to the residents, because still COVID-19 with the various forms already, Mr. Chairman, have increasingly raised the manifestations of the virus and, of course, illnesses among the people. And it happened in the Metro Manila, Mr. Chairman. Over the weekend, it raised up to 8,000 patients. And that is only those who were given a test that the government have found out that there are 8,000 plus COVID victims in Metro Manila. That is why on March 21, that is today, yesterday, March 21, on a Sunday, Mr. Chairman, the Executive Secretary of the President issued additional requirements for the Metro Manila cities, imposing additional guidelines that would somehow increase the awareness and consciousness of the people in Metro Manila that we should not be in a situation where we are relaxed and just doing ordinary things and losing sight of the issue that we have invisible enemy as that of COVID, Mr. Chairman. And there are already orders being issued. There are even rumors for Northern Mindanao, but we are still at a certain point that we are in control. In fact, the city mayor, in his steadfast and duty from the start to present, continuously 6 days a week, made that in public to appear and daily update as regards the going arounds of our local AITF, Mr. Chairman. And we are very happy. But we should not be relaxed. We should not come down and claim that we are already victorious of this issue, Mr. Chairman. My special report intends, together with Councilor Gaane's observation, Mr. Chairman, that we should, as a council, it is also our duty in a legislative body, not only to regulate, but also to inform the public of their duties. We should reintroduce again and again and inform them that kinahanglan we should not be off-guarded with this matter, Mr. Chairman. Kay daghan na kayo observations nato nga pati ang atong kanang tawag ana kanang gabi curfew Wala na, 24 hours na makita nato sa dalan. Inom bisag asa na. Dayon, if you will notice the issued order of the executive secretary, it really lied down, and the core of the issue is the issues happening at nighttime and gatherings, Mr. Chairman. And with this, it's a matter of campaign. And may I ask Councilor Gaane to particularly specify our ordinances, in particular, Mr. Chairman, the do's and don'ts in the city should prevail.
Okay, thank you, Majority Floor Leader Ian Mark Q Nacaya. So, Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane, since there is a rejoiner of this report this afternoon.
May ngapon ka
Mayong
natong tanan. Salamat, Mr. Presiding Chair. Salamat po, Majority Floor. Actually, in addendum to what our what our Majority Floor Leader had said, this is true now. Executive Secretary issued a memorandum yesterday that effective today, March 22, 2021 to April 4, 2021, the provinces of Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Rizal shall be placed under general community quarantine together with the highly urbanized cities of the NCR, including the municipality of Pateros. Now, I will state what are the cities including in the NCR, no, para maklaro gyud kay dagan-dagan naman there are 16 cities under the NCR, and I'm sorry. Wait. Actually, NCR is composed of 16 cities: the city of Manila, Quezon City, Caloocan, Las Piñas, Makati, Malabon, Mandaluyong, Marikina, Muntinlupa, Navotas, Parañaque, Pasay, Pasig, San Juan, Taguig, and Valenzuela, as well as the municipality of Pateros. Now, in accordance with the Department of Health, the minimum health standard has been given to us since the start of the pandemic crisis, and we're hoping na mabalik gyapon ni kay there are only 4 steps na gipahimagno sa atong Department of Health, and that's bida ang solusyon. First is bawal ang walang face mask. So maski asa gyud naa gyud tay face mask, no, lisod gyud kayo kay. And we know for a fact na ang mode of transmission is droplet, and the portal of entry of the virus is through sa atong eyes, nose, and mouth. So eye is sanitize ang inyong mga kamay. You can use alcohol gel or alcohol and wash with water and soap. D is distansya ng 1 metro, at least 1 meter. And A is action base sa totoong informasyon. So that's the 4 steps lang yun nga gihangyo sa atong Department of Health. Even now, na sila'y 3 Cs nga ilang ipagawas, kanang avoid crowded places, kanang mga contain na mga areas nga dili dapat kanang sa mga aircon nga kung pwede, and avoid crowded gatherings. Mo gina siya ang gaipamagno sa Department of Health, and that's the only way nga ma-contain nato ang virus. It doesn't mean na ongoing ang atong vaccination program karon. It doesn't mean na dili na lang ta magkumpiyansa. As long as naapagyod ang atong kontra, especially nga sama sa gisulti ni Majority Floor na invisible, dili na to makita. So doy kita kung magpapildi ta ani no, gamay lang siya pero grabe ang effect. So let's not wait na mapareho ni siya sa atong NCR. Kay as of today, we only have
23 cases for the last 2 days. So that's an average of mga 12. The previous days, we only have about 8. Pero considering ang NCR dako, and we don't have, the IATF lifted already the travel protocol since February 27 pa. So, ang ako lang, dili lang kita magkumpiyansa din. And as what our majority floor said, na kita din dapat ang strict enforcement sa atong ordinances, ato ginang ipahimagno sad kay isud kayo nga mag second surge ta dinhi sa Cagayan, especially nga imbes nga ang atong cases gamay na i-compare to other highly urbanized cities. Thank you and may hapon.
Okay, may hapon. Thank you, Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane. Okay, reaction? Okay, Majority Floor for a continuation.
The report, Mr. Chairman, is just a reminder that we should not put our guard down, and we hope that we heed the call, the regulations, non-pharmaceutical at that, and we already know this call as articulated and enumerated by Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane. Praktisado naman ta, pero dili lang nato kuan kumpiyansahan kay masalagmaan
Still, they enforce the, what do you call the, again, bida solution? Bida solution.
Bida ang
Hugas
solusyon.
yun. Labi na mga babae, hugas yun. Permente.
That's one additional requirement in the order.
Bida solution. Okay. Face mask, face shield, hugas kamot, hugas it. Permente. Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. If we observe in the social media, referring to what's happening in nearby Metro Manila, Mr. Chairman, katubitaw mga resorts, wala namang gaypan, wala namang restrictions. Nakita niyo sa social media, go to the resorts in Pansol, in Los Baños, Laguna, in Cavite, in Bulacan, as if there's no COVID anymore. And probably that caused the sudden surge of the virus. Here in our region, in Cagayan de Oro, I know we are strict in the implementation of our existing ordinances. But you go to Duca Bay, you go to some places here in Misor, murag akong tanaw, Mr. Chairman, murag wala naman po'y social distancing, wala na face mask. It appears as if the COVID is not existing anymore in some resorts here in the region. Now, problem is many of these people are coming to Cagayan de Oro to do some, of course, enterprising, some other activities that is related to livelihood, that is related to maintaining their survival. So I don't know. I would rather suggest to the chairman of the Committee on Health, because she's the one attending the regular IATF, that we should be consistent in enforcing these restrictions, not only here in the city, but also in our nearby suburbs, Mr. Chairman. So, well, I just like to suggest to the appropriate committee that this be tackled during IATF regional meetings, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Councilor Chodolfo Bonglao.
May I
Councilor Chodolfo Bonglao.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. May I suggest maybe on our next regular session, we could invite our IATF, our local IATF, so that we will be brief the status of our, especially the cases of COVID-19 in our city, whether it increases or reduced to certain numbers. And besides, also we should know how's the vaccination roll up in our city. so that if ever there is somebody who would ask us, this we can answer them precisely and substantially. That's my suggestion, Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Rodolfo Bonglao. I think it is very clear, heard by our committee chairman on health, Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane. So, anyone wants to add? Or, well, that special report of them by Councilor Majority Floor Leader Ian Mark Q Nacaya and Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaane is just for an information for everybody that we are still facing this pandemic. So we have to be very careful about that still. And well, we are very cautious enough and be responsible enough for our individual approach, just not just for our own safety, but for a show respect to our fellow countrymen or fellow Cagayanon. So you have to be very careful even at this moment of time, and still wearing face shield and wearing face mask and washing of hands regularly and sanitize regularly is still the best option for this in facing this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you again for the report. Majority Floor Leader Ian Mark Kiblat Nakaya, and so as Councilor Maria Lourdes Serinya Gaane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We now proceed to the agenda proper.
To our orders of the day, Majority Floor, you may now proceed.
Omnibus motion for items 1A and B, and 1A is proposed resolution number 2021-65, favorably endorsing to the Department of Science and Technology, DOST Region 10, through Regional Director Alfonso P. Alamban, the inclusion and sponsorship of study entitled Methane Gas and Organic Fertilizer Recovery as Wastewater Improvement Strategy in the City Slaughterhouse Facility, to be conducted by researchers Greg M. Cubio, Doctor of Engineering, Antonio Abdu Sami M. Magumnang, Doctor of Engineering, and Apolinario B. Gonzaga, a Junior PhD of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, USTP. And B, as modified, Mr. Chairman, proposed resolution number 2021-66, earnestly requesting Greg M. Cubio, Doctor of Engineering, Antonio Abdo Sami M. Magumnang, Doctor of Engineering, and Apolinario B. Gonzaga, Junior PhD, all of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, USTP, through its president, Dr. Ambrosio B. Cultura II, to conduct a research study entitled Methane Gas and Organic Fertilizer Recovery as Wastewater Improvement Strategy in the City Slaughterhouse Facility. As modified, move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly
Items
moved by
1A and B.
Properly moved by the Majority Floor Leader, and seconded. Objection. Hearing none. Resolution number 2021-65. Resolution number 2021-66. Since there is no objection, it is hereby approved.
Please take note the authors in the committee level. Move to dispense second final reading.
For its finality, seconded.
Number 2 is proposed resolution number 2021-67, adopting the Cagayan de Oro City Contingency Plan for COVID-19 as one of the requirements of the GAWAD kalamidad at sakuna laban sariling galing ang kaligtasan, kalagsag, seal, and special awards for excellence in disaster risk reduction management and humanitarian assistance for CY 2021. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the Majority Floor Leader, and seconded. Objection. Resolution number 2021-67 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 3 is proposed resolution number 2021-68, returning to the Barangay Council of Macasandig, the city, its ordinance number 005-20, entitled An Ordinance Adopting the Official Hymn of Barangay Makasandig, regulating its use and providing penalty for violations thereof, with information that said ordinance is operative in its entirety. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor leader. Seconded. Objection. Objection. Hearing none. Hearing none. Resolution number 2021-68 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 4 is proposed ordinance number 2021-43, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Oscar S. Moreno, representing the city government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the memorandum of agreement MOA with the Department of Agriculture Regional Field Office 10, represented by its Regional Executive Director Carlin C. Collado, CPA, covering the implementation in the city of the project grant or urban agriculture program with sub-projects: urban agriculture establishment, community garden, and modern urban agriculture under the terms and conditions stipulated in the MOA, here to attach. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Seconded. Objection. Objection. Hearing none. Hearing none. Ordinance number 2021. Thus, 4-3 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 5 is proposed ordinance number 2021-44, appropriating the sum of 8,271,402 pesos from the continuing appropriation annual budget calendar year 2018 to 19 of the herein non-office accounts to be made available for the full payment of the claim for just compensation, including registration, documentation expenses, and capital gains tax of lot number 20410 CAD 369-D KOT-P-4631 Cagayan Cadastre, owned by Zosimo A. Villanueva, containing an area of 31,037 square meters, located in Barangay Lumbia, the city, for resettlement site land banking purposes, and for this purpose authorizing the Honorable City Mayor to sign the deed of absolute sale thereof. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Any second? Okay, just reserve it for later on. Any second? Seconded. Okay, you have any reaction?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was a new information regarding this property, Mr. Chairman. So there is a need to be clarified, Mr. Chairman. So I therefore move to defer this item for 1 week. Thank you.
Okay. So there is a motion coming from the Committee on Finance, since there is new development about this property. So coming from her committee, or coming from her in her behalf, Councilor Edna Dahino. Any second for the motion? Any second? Seconded. Okay. So objection for deferment. Properly moved and seconded. Ordinance number 2021, thus 44, is deferred to its committee.
Number 6, no pressure to the committee. We'll give her time.
Okay.
1 week ramay ang ipangayo, pero no pressure. Number 6 is proposed ordinance number 2021-45, approving the development plan of Buena Oro Socialized Housing Project located in Barangay Makasandig, the city, with an area of 29,552 square meters, containing 199 lots units under BP 220 as applied for by the city government of Cagayan de Oro, represented by Honorable City Mayor Oscar S. Moreno, subject to the conditions imposed by the City Housing Board, City Engineering Office, and the City Housing and Urban Development Department. At last, move for its approval, Mr.
Properly
Chairman.
moved by the majority floor leader.
Dugay na kayo.
Seconded. Objection or not approved.
Dugay na ning
At
housing.
last, huh?
Karon pa.
Move and
Thank you,
second.
Councilor Cabanlas.
There is no objection. There is no objection. Okay. Councilor Edgar Cabanlas.
We should thank everybody, including the members of the City Council, for this historical achievement that we had now, for the first time, the people there living in Binaoro will be having their own titles. We fought several battles to secure the clearances and everything. The conflicts, mga libak din mga pandaot, but we were able to overcome them because of the perseverance and the unbending attention given by the City Council. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Mayor, Majority Floor, and the members of the City Council.
So as
This
all
is
the
our-
members. Well, from the committee, well, the development is the origin for the title or the first phase for the titling, the development plan, or the said
Yes,
area?
because
Okay.
we need this development permit because we declared this a socialized housing program. It started even before
More than 20 years.
More than 20 years, at least at this moment of time.
Many tears were shed because of
Isa kabaldi na.
Baldina. And,
Sobra.
we are very thankful that we were able to finish this and be successful. Thank you very much.
Tears and sweat.
This is one of the first few projects of the city government, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
declared as a on-site socialized housing program of the city.
Well, for a clear manifestation for the commitment to give the title. Since development plan or giving the title at least for 20 years. Well, just coming from a manifestation of the committee sponsored, committee chairman, Councilor Edgar Cabanlas. Very thankful for that. Properly moved and seconded. There is still pending ordinance as proposed. Objection? Objection. Hearing none. Ordinance number 2021-45 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
Number 7 is proposed ordinance number 2021-46, amending section 34, sharing of proceeds of ordinance number 12860-2014, otherwise known as Cagayan de Oro Revenue Code of 2015, so as to adjust in the manner provided herein the distribution of proceeds of the tax on sand, gravel, and other quarry resources to conform with the provisions of Article 239 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations IRR of RA number 17160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved and seconded. Objection? Objection. Hearing none. Hearing none. Ordinance number 2021-46 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final
Dispense
reading.
for its finality. Any second? Seconded.
Number 8 is proposed ordinance number 2021-47, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Oscar S. Moreno, representing the city government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the partnership agreement with the Commission on Population and Development Region 10, represented by its Regional Director Neil Aldrin C. Omega, CPA, covering the collaboration of the parties to improve the policy and program environment in the city to ensure the constituents of the city, particularly those from the marginalized sectors, have a universal access to responsible parenthood and family planning, information, and access to responsible parenthood and services under the terms and conditions stipulated in the partnership agreement hereto attached. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved. Seconded. Objection? Objection? None. Ordinance number 2021-47 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
We have items 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Mr. Chairman, for inclusion. Move for their inclusion.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 for inclusion. And seconded. Carry on, majority floor.
Number 9 is proposed ordinance number 2021-48, approving the supplemental budget number 1 of the general fund and supplemental budget number 1 of the special account local economic enterprises, both for calendar year 2021 with estimated incomes of 51,100,742 pesos and 12,192,412 pesos para adjustment, second tranche salary increase respectively against estimated expenditures of the same amounts for all employees. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor and seconded. Well, we're just to remind, sakyan na po niya kuhan, pero salary increase for the national standardization law. No, second tranche from the Duterte administration. No, just want to clarify.
Tanan empleyado.
Tanan. But that is national for the salary standardization law. Sinlaino nagsabot. So properly moved. Any second? Seconded. Objection? Objection. There is none. Ordinance number 2021-48 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense. Seconded.
10 is proposed ordinance number 2021-49, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Oscar S. Moreno to enter into and sign the memorandum of undertaking with the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, Cagayan de Oro City 2nd District Engineering Office, represented by its OIC District Engineer Gabriel L. Ginitaran, covering the collaboration of the parties in the implementation of the herein Farm to Market Road projects in the 2nd District of Cagayan de Oro City under the terms and conditions stipulated therein, to wit: name of project, Concreting of Barangay Tablon, FMR, 12 million pesos. A total project cost is, just the 10% LGU counterpart, 1.2 million. Concreting of Barangay Balubal, FMR, 1.5 million. Concreting of Barangay FS Catanico, FMR, 1.2 million. Total, 3.9 million as the 10% LGU counterpart, Mr. Chairman. Move for its approval.
Properly moved by the majority floor leader. And a second? Seconded. Objection? Objection. Okay. Okay, just okay. Okay, Councilor Edna Dahino, what's something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, Mr. Chairman, the proposed ordinance 2021-49, this was not yet passed to the Committee of Finance, Budget and Appropriation, and there is no CAF yet, Mr. Chairman. So I would like to defer this and refer back to the Committee of Finance, Budget and Appropriation, including the numbers 11 and 12, Mr. Chairman.
And 13.
Thank you. And 13. Thank you.
And 13. Well, this could be just a counterpart.
But there is no CAF, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, counterpart lang ni, but has no CAF availability of funds submitted to the committee.
Since the okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your. But there is an urgency, as certified. Maybe there will be a time frame for this for the national law. Wait for the requirements from the DPWH for the time. Okay. Oh, okay.
We join Councilor Dahino.
Okay, properly, there is a motion, a proper motion. So any second? Seconded. Well, we do not have a session for next week. So is it okay? So properly moved and seconded. Objection? Objection?
They can implement their 90%, Mr. Chairman. And maybe the 10% will come later.
Okay. Okay, so ordinance number 2021-49, ordinance 2021-50, and so as ordinance number 2021-51.
Plus the number 13.
And so as ordinance number 2021-52. So properly moved and seconded. Such ordinance is deferred to the Committee of Finance.
Number 14, Mr. Chairman, is proposed ordinance number 2021-53, confirming, approving, ratifying the loan agreement, the agreement between the city government of Cagayan de Oro and the Land Bank of the Philippines, Land Bank, in the amount of Philippine peso 1 billion only, pursuant to ordinance number 14000-2020 and for other purposes. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor leader. Any second? Seconded. Objection? Objection. Hearing none. Hearing none. Ordinance number 2021-53 is hereby approved.
Move to dispense second final reading.
Dispense for its finality and seconded.
This is just the pro forma of Land Bank, Mr. Chairman. There's nothing new or there's
requisite.
no additional. Just
Yes,
compliance of
Compliance.
the requirement, just for the information of everybody. Number 15 is proposed resolution number 2021-69, suspending the next regular session of the 19th City Council sa Sangguniang Panglungsod in deference of the observance of the Holy Week. Proponents, all members. Move for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
Properly moved by the majority floor leader and seconded. Objection? Objection. Oh, Councilor Enrico Salcedo, you have 1 week for pag hinulsul sa mga sala. No? 2 weeks ni? 2 weeks na. Oh. So by 29, we do not have a regular session, no, as approved by everybody. So, okay. Sugda na tayo karon, daghan-daghan gid ay.
Ano man na siya? Flatbed or
Sa man, flatbed or double decker. Okay, there is a pending proposal for a resolution. Properly moved and seconded since objection. Objection. There is none. Hearing none. Resolution number 2021-69 is hereby approved.
to dispense second final reading.
Dispense for its finality. Seconded.
Adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Session adjourned.